Okay, so this is the international version of the OnePlus One. The packaging is totally different from the Chinese phone. You can see that the main box is only just large enough to hold the packaging for the phone itself, and there's no room in there for this additional charger box. All of this shipped in a DHL bag, and each of these boxes were separate. Okay, once we take this out, you can see that this is just the same as the Chinese version of the phone. It's the white box with the red interior. But if you turn it over, you can see that the specifications on the rear are totally different. You can see that it's all in English for a start. We've got a 64GB capacity version. It even says that it's the global version of the phone. Sandstone black, OnePlus One, USB cable, SIM ejector tool. That's everything that's in the box. It supports LTE, GSM and WCDMA networks. And you can see here, OnePlus.net created together with our fans. CyanogenMod logo there. So this is it. Inside here is the sandstone black version of the OnePlus One. If I just put my finger under this tab and pull it up, you can see that this is the sandstone finish phone. This is the 64GB model from the international OnePlus store. CyanogenMod logo on there. It's a really nice textured finish. It looks very, very good in the flesh. I'm not sure how well it looks on the video just yet, but it looks really, really good. Let's just pop that to one side and let's see what else is in the box. Okay, so we've got a nice comparison here between the Chinese version of the OnePlus One and the international version of the phone. The Chinese version comes with this small booklet in the box. The USB data cable and the SIM ejector tool are exactly the same as the international version, but there's no instruction manual here. The phones themselves are slightly different too. We have a CyanogenMod logo on the international version of the phone, but as you can see on the Chinese version there isn't one. Also, we've got FCC markings, and the CE markings are along the bottom of the international sandstone version of this OnePlus One, whereas the white baby skin version, the Chinese version, hasn't got an FCC logo and the CE mark is over here. Okay, let's turn on the OnePlus One. So once this boots up, we should see CyanogenMod 11S. As you can see already, when it boots up, we've got a few differences. It says powered by Android. The Chinese version of the phone didn't do that. And the OnePlus logo isn't changing red. We're going into the CyanogenMod logo now. Again, this is a difference from the Chinese version of the phone. And once this all boots up, we should see the CyanogenMod 11S lock screen. And there we go. We've got the lock screen here, we've got the time, we've got the date, and we also have the power consumption there. For some reason, my phone has been shipped in French. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Sorry, let's go back into that. So just swiping on the home screen, on the lock screen, sorry, will bring us into the home screen, the standard CyanogenMod 11S screen. And already I'm getting some sort of message here, something to do with my gallery, which I'll have a look at in a moment. And again. Okay, if we go into the settings, let's change the language. Let's get into English. So we pop down here. Okay, yeah, so it's in Canadian French for some reason. Let's change it to English. A moment. We've got the Google Play Store already built in. So this is a plus compared to the Chinese version of the OnePlus. And as you can see, we've got all our Google services already in here. Whereas on the Chinese version we'd have to root the phone and add them separately. Let's see what version of the system we're running. So going to about the phone, we're running Android 4.4.2. So this is a different version of Android completely compared to the Chinese version of the phone. The Chinese version ships with Android 4.3 ColorOS, and we've got KitKat on here. Okay, if we bring both of the OnePlus in here, I've got the Chinese version of the OnePlus, it's the non-CyanogenMod version, and we've got the international version of the OnePlus with CyanogenMod 11S on there. So you can see they're exactly the same other than the color and the different logos and markings along the bottom. Obviously the OSs are a little bit different too. We have CyanogenMod 11S on the international version and ColorOS on here. If I just unlock these, so I swipe this way and swipe down, you can see we've got different home screens too. We've got a very Android, stock Google looking home screen on the CyanogenMod international version of the OnePlus, whereas ColorOS is a bit more customized. We've also got different widgets on both phones. You can see that the Chinese version of the phone doesn't have the Google Play Store, whereas the international version of the phone does. camera applications, if I just open up, sorry, just go back. If we just open up the camera on both phones, and we've got different camera interfaces too. On the CyanogenMod, all we need to do is flick down, and that will go through all our different settings, whereas in ColorOS, we've got to go through them here. Just a little bit different, but I do prefer the CyanogenMod version. Also, we've got a bit more screen, we can actually see more of the picture compared to the ColorOS version. Let's pop out of there. Let's see what else we've got that's different. If I just bring in the Chinese version of the phone by itself, if I stroke down here, we've got a gesture control panel, and by drawing something on here, I can open up, say, the camera. The CyanogenMod version of the phone doesn't have that. If I just swipe down, I only have a notification bar, but I do have more settings here. It's the same settings, but a nicer layout than compared to ColorOS. So there are differences between the two phones. Another difference between the two phones is the version of Android that they're using. If we just go into the settings on both of the phones, about the phone here, you can see that the Chinese version is running Android 4.3, whereas the international version is running Android 4.42. So there are lots of differences between the two phones. I'm not going to go over all of them now, because obviously we'll do a full review on both the phones. But there you go, there's a quick comparison between the Chinese version of the OnePlus and the international version of the OnePlus. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll speak to you all soon. Goodbye.